Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow here with my esteemed guest, Tone Vays. We will be right back after this brief disclaimer. Stick around because this is going to be educational and probably a little crazy.
You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am here with the magical, the psychic, the skilled, I don't know how do you want to refer to him, Mr. Tone Vays. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. Look, it's kind of funny because when, obviously we met briefly at the Voice of Blockchain, so that brought us together. And, it's difficult for me because I've been a big fan for quite a while now, and I've actually made some money strictly watching your technical analysis and kind of getting a pretty solid idea as to when to buy, when to sell, when to short, that sort of thing. And I have to say that of all the TA guys I used to watch, you have, at least in a bear market, mind you, at least in a bear market, but I anticipate the same is true in a bull market, but in the bear market, you've been very accurate and have actually allowed me, or I should say enabled me, to improve my Bitcoin position multiple times. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining us. Now, I guess where to even begin, right? So meeting you in Chicago, obviously you have a bit of a fan base, who you seemed fairly swarmed the entire time. But not quite on the level of Justin Bieber, but I would say you're getting there. All based off of all this nerdy shit we call blockchain. So did you pick up a girl at crypto, the Voice of Blockchain, or were you just kind of going it alone the whole time?
Oh, man, you're really going to get me in trouble. Already, damn, you didn't even warm up to that one.
Hey, did I surprise you yet?
No, I was way too busy. I mean, I was only in Chicago for a couple of days. And, it was a lot of fun. It was interesting. I haven't been to Chicago in a long time. Only been there once before. This was my second time in Chicago. The conference was interesting. It was not exactly what I expected. Definitely didn't expect one giant room with 3 stages and all the vendors in the middle. I did, however, enjoy that little section that they gave me for selfies. With the banner. I think I'm going to start demanding that from every conference going forward. Just makes life so much easier. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I see people commenting in the chat that they were like splitting Ubers with me. And I'm basically hanging out with people. That's what I do. I try to get some work done when I can. But look, I understand that conferences, put on a show for people that are paying. So I want to be as available as possible for people that are spending their money coming to a conference, especially if they're coming to a conference to see me.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, I'm not a big conference guy. My background, obviously I was a fight promoter for 6 years and I did a lot of MMA stuff and I'm used to the casinos and arenas and things. So the convention side, I actually, as of yesterday, announced that I'm actually going to be launching my own convention in February. But it's not a B2B thing. I'm going after the mass adoption. I'm going after the general public. Low ticket price admission, donating half of it to charity. I'm not even going to go into the details of it here. But, when I went to that, I thought, this is a really cool foundation. But, it was a little different than I expected as well. But it was nice to be able to connect with guys like you and a lot of the other influencers in the space. I met a lot of Twitter people. And
I lost your audio there.
You lost my audio.
I didn't do anything.
I don't know. Is audio okay for everybody in chat? Just to give me an idea here. My levels are fine for me. There we are. Whatever you just did, I think.
Are we back?
I think so. I see the bars back up for you.
Yep. Yeah, we're back. We're back. Yeah, I don't know. Internet went out for a second.
Must be all that heat over there.
Yeah, so you were talking about your convention. I just want to comment real quick. Did we go out again? No, we're good, right?
You're good.
Okay, perfect. And no, I can definitely see you being in MMA before. You're when we I don't think anyone is gonna mess with you when they randomly walk next to you on the street. And I'm also thinking of starting my own conference, but I'm going in the opposite direction. Instead of doing like a large, low ticket sale thing, I'm going in the opposite direction. Something a little more exclusive. I don't want to manage a conference of 8,000 people. I only want to have maybe 200 to 300 people in person, and then focus on the live stream. So only make it a little pricier for people to come in person and experience a more of a smaller environment. And then capitalize on the live stream so more people can see that.
Yeah, I think my big thing is definitely all about just getting new people educated properly by people that I trust to educate them. And that's kind of why, and I'm probably going to do it right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I already talked to a convention center, talked to a few today actually, and I think I already know which one I'm going to go with. And yeah, I'm going to try and make it as big as possible. I'm going to televise the whole thing nationally. I kind of want this to be like the E3 of blockchain tech. I really do. And I'm going to bring in some celebrities and just even people outside the crypto space. And I just want to make it a lot of fun. I've even thought about trying to maybe even bring in a band everybody would recognize and just make it one big educational, inspirational party. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, well, what you want to do is, and this is the best thing, everyone comes into crypto and they all think they can solve problems they know nothing about. What you want to do when you come to crypto, you did something before crypto. I know a lot of these guys are starting their projects and they're 19 years old and they've done nothing, which is why they're probably going to fail. There may be one Zuckerberg out of the 18,000 of them that are trying, but you don't want to place your bet there. The ones that are going to be successful are the ones that are coming into their space and leveraging their expertise and their specialty from a previous thing that they've done. So if you have connections, if you've put on events before, if you have connections to certain, influencers outside the crypto space, if you have connections to musicians, if you have connections to MMA fighters, leverage that. Leverage that in this space.
Right.
That is why a lot of people fail. I've tried being an investor and investing in companies I knew nothing about, complete disasters. The one thing that made me successful in the crypto space is that I came in with 10 years of trading experience. I've been in the space now for 5 years. So that trading experience is now 15 years. That is unmatched. That is my absolute specialty. I'm not a very good developer. I've ran a couple of small businesses, not all that successfully, but trading and educating and teaching, that is a skill set. And no matter how much I want to walk away from it, for me to be successful, I got to go back to what I know best. And I was a teacher, I was a professor, I was a high school teacher before I started on Wall Street, and I love trading, and I was a pretty successful trader. Yeah, apparently. You still find some old videos on the internet. Good luck, guys. And you have to come to this space, and it will be your expertise before crypto, and add crypto into it, and that's where you're going to succeed.
Yeah, I agree, and we'll see what happens. I mean, as long as a lot of, because there have been people on my Facebook here locally want me to do a seminar and try and teach everybody that way, and I thought, why do just a seminar? Like when my first fight show, I was actually on a fight team, went down to Louisville, Kentucky. Everybody was fighting down to Louisville, and it was at the Louisville Gardens Arena. And I looked around, and there were thousands of people there. And I had just gotten out of the music business. I used to have a record label. And, I'm looking around, and I'm like, I could crush this. And I went home, and 90 days later, I sold out the Northern Kentucky Convention Center, over 3,000 people. And so, I'm just one of those guys, man. I get an idea, and then I just do shit. So, we'll see how it happens, how it works out. And
Right. And if you have that skill set, like I go to all of these conferences, and some of them, they have more staff than people in attendance because they're not experienced at putting this on. And then you have the opposite. You got way more people than there is capacity for. Again, people need to know what they're doing before they do it. Now, I am going to organize my first conference, And I'm a little nervous because I don't have experience in doing that, and it could be a total disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first show I ever did, I basically couldn't walk for like 2 days after. My feet were so beat up, and every step you take, somebody else needs you for something. It was pretty chaotic. But towards the end, after years of doing it, it got to the point where I just had everybody handle it all for me. I just sat cage side and got blood on me. So, on that note, where's Bitcoin going, man? Like, what's happening? It pumped up. I actually sold my Bitcoin at like 69.80, and then it jumped up from there, and I'm like, son of a bitch. But now it seems to be going back down, and I'm looking for I'm looking for a buyback. Looking to buy back in at like 6,300. I'm hoping. So we'll just to make a little bit of a scout there. Do you think I'm stupid for having done that, Tone?
No, I think that's a very smart move. I think that right now we're getting into this danger zone of a potential top between 7,000 and 7,500. You could have stretched it out, but I would have sold just like you. If I had been long going into it right now, I think is a reasonable time to take your profit. Now, there's still a little bit of room between 7,000 and 7,500, but no matter how you slice it, there is going to be a pullback. The question is this a pullback only going to be, are we going to go to 7,500 and will the pullback only be to 7,000? Or is this over and we're headed back down for 6,000 and lower? I'm still a bear in this market. I think that the real profits are going to be made to the downside. And I'm still waiting for some of this short leverage to clean out so that we can get back to the lows and everyone thinks we're only going to go higher. And from there, I think we will continue to go down. My $5,000 target that I expected in early July missed by about $700. We came down to 5,700 around that time. Didn't quite make it to 5,000. So my 5,000 target continues to get delayed. But I have not walked away from that target yet. And that is also my most optimistic bearish target. I think once we break 5,000, I will reevaluate my situation and very likely would expect lower prices. But until we get to 5,000, I try not to project too much.
Yeah, I really struggle with the idea of $5,000 Bitcoin. What happens to all the miners if we actually get it that low? And is your $5,000 prediction strictly based off of TA, or is it based off of the 2014 history that I know you like to compare to quite a bit?
It's both. To me, the 2014 history is TA. I treat them as one and the same. That is part of my TA. But yeah, I do go with that $2,500 target completely as TA.
So this is the one thing that every time I watch your videos, every morning, and I watch, like I just watched the one about 3D printing, and I really just watch to see Leah in the morning. That's really it. I don't even care what you have to say. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
So, but the one thing that I never really see you take into account are social sentiment. How much does social sentiment play into what you're seeing in the charts? Because I feel like you do a lot with the technical analysis side of things, but there's never really any, well, this is kind of what the social sentiment is saying and where the social sentiment is going. Because from what I see, like Google Trends and things like that, has a pretty consistent flow with the actual TA patterns.
Well, sure. I think I've pissed off enough people with my bearishness. So if I start talking about fundamentals, I'm gonna make people even more pissed off about my bearishness, because I think that Bitcoin's optics and fundamentals that you see are insanely bearish. The only fundamentals of Bitcoin that are actually bullish is what is happening with the code under the hood. And you know what? No one cares what is happening with Bitcoin under the hood, because you know what? Bitcoin is the under the hood development of Bitcoin is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Bitcoin is supposed to be the top of the line. Bitcoin has the brightest people, the brightest coders in the crypto space, and not even by a little, like by miles. Like for example, the best programmer on an altcoin, and they only have like one good programmer. That one good programmer of an altcoin probably wouldn't even be top 20 in the world of Bitcoin, okay? And the other group only has one of them. Bitcoin is doing what it's supposed to be doing under the hood. So you can't really factor that in. The only thing under the hood of Bitcoin is when things go bad, okay? And no one cares what's happening under the hood of Bitcoin other than actual people that are not speculating and trading. The developers care. I obviously care, and I don't even trade much these days. But the optics of the crypto space are so much worse right now in 2018 than they were in 2014. In 2014, we were, the Mt. Gox disaster was already being cleaned up. You didn't have that overhang. Right now, everyone is nervous about Tether and Bitfinex, and is that situation going to explode? Back in 2014, everybody was a Bitcoin maximalist. You go to a conference, the 90% of the people you talk to are all about Bitcoin. You go to a conference today, you got to go over to my section to find a guy that's all about Bitcoin. Everyone wants to sell you their, scam coin. So on TV, it's been infiltrated, right? Like most of the media has been infiltrated with scam coins like XRP and Bcash and God knows what else, because these alternative companies have, the money to pay PR companies. They have money to promote conferences. They have resources to pump their scam coins.
So let me ask you this real quick, because I love it. I think it's funny, but like I know in your eyes, everything but Bitcoin's a shit coin, scam coin, right? So, but what I actually got in a bit, not an argument per se. It was more just me kind of chewing this guy's head off a little bit in a very nice way while I was drunk at a bar at that meet and greet. And, he was very much basically saying, anything but Bitcoin is garbage and this and that. And I thought, and I said, look, if it wasn't for, let's just say that, maybe half of all of the ICOs that have come out are bullshit scams, okay? And I know you're going to say 99% or, maybe all but one of the 20,000 or whatever. But let's just say that that's the case. Don't you think that it's all of these altcoins and the innovation and the ideas and the research and the work going into these quote-unquote scam coins that's helping draw attention to the fundamentals of Bitcoin as a whole and ultimately helping the market? I mean, because the way I see it, Bitcoin can only do so much. And while there may be these big, fantastic teams of developers putting time in making it better, it's not there yet, in my perception, based off of some of the technology that is available with some of these quote-unquote scam coins. And if these scam companies, like you mentioned Ripple, Ripple, yes, they have a huge budget. They're backed by all the bankers and all the big players. And, I actually recently bought into Ripple specifically for no other reason than them having the resources to continue to maintain the speculative value of the coin. And to me, that is even more powerful than if I were to own $1,000 in fiat, because nobody's pumping fiat. If anything, people are looking outside of the green paper money or the credit card balances. They're looking into crypto for a place to kind of hedge their fiat to get some gains. Whether that comes from Ripple or Bitcoin or Cardano, which is one of my favorite projects out there. There are a lot of companies out there that, in my opinion, are really trying to do big things in the space. And I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is, what in your mind constitutes a scam coin or a shit coin?
Well, you said a lot there, right? Let me break down a couple of things. So one of the words that you said was ultimately, right? And I can agree with that, right? If you look back at the dot-com bubble, the NASDAQ topped in the year 2000, around March 2000. Then there was a 72% crash in the prices of the companies on top of the NASDAQ. It took 15 years for NASDAQ to go to new all-time highs. In 2015, NASDAQ finally went to new all-time highs. But notice how throughout that entire time, internet was becoming more and more popular. The internet never had a bubble. The bubble was in all of the FOMO and all of the money that poured into the sector? Did all of those .coms that didn't have any developers and all they had was a front-end website trading at $100 a share, did they help the ecosystem? Did they help people get on the internet? Well, the answer is maybe. Maybe they did. Were they good investments? Of course not. You would have done way better if you waited for all of that nonsense to go away and then started investing in the companies around 2005 when the companies had proven themselves. Because if you put all your money in MySpace instead of Facebook, which most of us would have done, including myself, if we had that chance to invest in Facebook pre-IPO, our money would have been in MySpace. And we would have had absolutely no money to buy Facebook at $20 a share when it went public and ride it 10x up all the way to $200 where Facebook was before their recent earnings screw up. So that's what you have to realize. And you also said several other words, right? You are investing in Ripple because you believe that they have the resources to pump Ripple. So to me, it sounds like you are treating Ripple like the stock of the company Ripple, which is exactly how I am treating it. The difference is Bitcoin isn't competing with other crypto assets with those. Bitcoin is competing with gold. Bitcoin is competing with the US dollar. Bitcoin is competing with the euro. Monero is competing with Dash, is competing with Zcash for who can speculate the most for a short amount of time. They are not Bitcoin's competitors. So to me, I think the probability of anything other than Bitcoin going to straight up zero is unreasonably high for me to even consider speculating. When I was a trader, I did not trade any stock that did not trade at 500,000 shares of average daily volume. Sorry, 500,000 dollars worth of average daily volume, right? Like, I wanted liquidity. I wanted companies that the market has proven to be legitimate. I never even considered being a penny stock trader. I know lots of traders that were penny stock traders. They were trying to convince me that they could make 100% returns within days on penny stocks. You buy a stock that's 3 cents, it goes up to 6 cents, you made 100% return. But these companies can go to zero with a much higher probability than any stock in the S&P 500. The probability, and sure, we can name them all. I worked at Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns went to zero. WorldCom
for a lot of
went
reasons.
To zero. Right. Enron went to zero. But you have to understand that the probability of an S&P 500 stock going to zero is a black swan event. The probability of a penny stock going to zero is a daily event. That's the difference. To me, every single crypto other than Bitcoin has a non-trivial probability of going to zero any day of the week. And I don't touch them and I don't trust them. I say that there are maybe a handful, maybe a dozen of honestly created cryptocurrencies. I can name a few. Monero, Litecoin, even something like Maxcoin, right? Something that was created as proof of work where other than the Genesis block, anybody could have mined. It was a reasonable distribution. But you also have to realize that even these honestly created proof of work coins, they don't have the type of distribution around the world that Bitcoin has. They don't have the kind of security in mining and decentralization of mining that Bitcoin has. They are incredibly centralized in the hands of a couple of people, usually the ones that are starting that currency. They have huge regulatory risk because the people that started these alternative, honest, proof of work, fair blockchains are still out there on a soapbox talking about their coin. Sure, Charlie Lee left the project, but he can still be held liable by the regulators, and that can cause problems for Litecoin. You have people in charge of Monero. You have people in charge of Zcash. Not to mention the whole developer problem that I mentioned. There's like, what, 1 or 2 smart developers at Monero? maybe one at Zcash. Maybe Zcash isn't even fair. Zcash is a corporate, for-profit product. I mean, when have you ever? I mean, a currency, a global decentralized currency, is not supposed to be a for-profit venture with investors getting money back as they're skimming 20% of the miner reward. Dash was insta-mined so that 3 people can get 20% of all the future of Dash coins. And when they weren't satisfied with that, they converted half that blockchain to proof of stake just so they can continue to print money for themselves for absolutely no work and no investment. And these are some of the most honest ones we have. When you talk about ICOs, they're private companies that are simply getting around regulation on securities in order to fund their idea, because no normal person in their right mind would give them money for their ridiculous ideas. So they're going after unqualified investors. Something like Ethereum has the same problem of being an ICO. Therefore, they went after unqualified investors. I said Ethereum was a unlicensed, unregistered, uncompliant security in 2014, and I continue to say it today. Just because a bunch of people started issuing assets on top of Ethereum, because Ethereum has finally found its use case of separating unqualified investors from whatever money they have, doesn't mean that it's a good idea. If you want to prove to yourself that Ethereum is technologically unstable, go and create an Ethereum node and process your own Ethereum transactions. I can process my own Bitcoin transactions. I have a Bitcoin node running with a normal computer and a fair internet connection. You can get your Bitcoin node up and running within a week or two with every single transaction Bitcoin ever had, and being able to process every Bitcoin transaction probably for the next 50 to 100 years. With Ethereum, you're going to need a $3,000 computer and probably fiber with like an unreasonably high internet to even have a chance to download the history of Ethereum and then process your own transactions. Ethereum is getting to a point where it is so centralized on the node side, there'll be like 3 people running a node. Like, what is that? It's so ripe for a centralized company to come in and do everything Ethereum does without the technological drawback of pretending to be decentralized.
So let me ask you this. You come from the stock market world, right? You came from all these big companies, lots of experience. You obviously see things in a different way than most people, I would consider safe to say. Why do you do this? If everything but Bitcoin is shit, if everything else out there is just an attempt to scam or some, to me that's almost like, like the disgruntled man who, he was madly in love with this woman who just cheated on him and lied to him every day, and he's like, all women are dirty whores. Like, what happened? What was the defining moment for you where or was there one? What happened when you decided everything and anything but Bitcoin is bullshit? Because I do disagree. I don't necessarily think that all of these companies are going to be, rags to riches scenarios for everybody involved in them. But I do believe that there are a lot more honest projects out there than given credit for. And so I have to wonder, what is it that drives you to move forward each and every day doing what you do with such a negative outlook on everything else out there other than Bitcoin?
Well, my purpose is to educate, and I did do my own research. I was around the space since 2013. I started writing my first articles in 2014, and the very first panel I ever spoken on publicly was Bitcoin versus altcoins. This was very early 2014. We had very few, reasonable altcoins. And I was actually speaking a bit positively about these altcoins. But then as I did more and more research, the moment you actually start doing research on these things, and it's amazing how people say, do your own research, and it happens to be on my shirt, which is a shirt I bought over at the Chicago conference. I will say they did have some really cool clothing gear for you to purchase, really cool ideas. And when you start doing your own research, you start uncovering all of these cockroaches under the hood and how every one of these projects is basically being created for personal gain. And I have a problem with that, right?
Why is any company created? I mean, well, you know, I mean, just to be fair about it, why is any business venture a venture? It's for profitable
again, right?
gain.
Okay, but again, now we're conflicting things, right? Is Monero and Dash a business venture, or are they a currency?
It's not really for me to decide, I don't think.
I think it should be, right? Like, what is your token supposed to do? You need to decide what is your token supposed to do. There is a reason why Amazon does not allow us to pay for products with Amazon stock. Because the Amazon token
That's equity ownership in a company. Cryptocurrencies are not.
Okay, well, again, what is your definition of a cryptocurrency? Is Ethereum a cryptocurrency, or is Ethereum gas to power smart contracts? What is it?
I think cryptocurrency in general is kind of it's just a general term used for all of this stuff, whether it's a currency or not. I think anything that sends value from one person to another is technically a currency. But there are other use cases associated with some of these currencies based off of how they're developed and what sort of features they offer.
Why would you? But this is one of the issues, right? Like this is where people should really study economics, and I recommend starting with the book Bitcoin Standard by a PhD economist. Why do you want your currency to be something other than currency? Because that creates perverse economic incentives.
It's competition.
But if you have two Ethereum developers and one believes Ethereum is a currency and the other believes Ethereum is gas and should not be a currency, how do you properly develop the future of Ethereum?
I get what you're saying, but for me, I kind of dumb things down a little bit. You're a lot smarter than I am, Tone. So
I don't know about that.
So when I look at what you're saying, I think, well, I've got two ice cream cones sitting here. They're the same flavor, same cone. Which one's the child gonna pick? Probably the one with sprinkles. It's the same thing, but it's what offers more, what is more attractive, and for what reason. And so, to me, you can have 5 different currencies or whatever you want to call them.
Let's stick with that analogy.
Okay.
The child is going to pick the ice cream with sprinkles, which is clearly the unhealthier option by adding sprinkles to your ice cream, right? Of the two choices. Let's be honest here. Right?
Okay, all right, damn it. You got me on that one. Well, the way I see it is, are smart contracts, are those an unhealthy, an unhealthier version to a currency without them? I guess that's all. Look, I totally, I hear everything that you say, man, and you've obviously done a lot more homework than I have. I am probably going to go get that book now and read it. I'm a naive believer in the overall condition of humanity, even though I've been proven wrong many, many times. But I see, I don't look at the entire crypto space as just a bunch of crooked bastards trying to screw everybody for their own financial gain. Who can make the best website and the best white paper to con people out of millions. I don't feel that way.
I'll agree with you that I would say a good portion of these people don't realize that they're scamming unqualified investors. They actually believe they are doing something good. How many people have you heard, well, I want to do my own ICO, I want to print my own money because I want to help, the poor. I want to help charity. What these people don't realize is that, the Bank of Zimbabwe that hit its hyperinflation also wanted to help the poor and also wanted to help their economy, and they blew up their currency. And those people are more qualified to print currency than most of these ICO creators. I know.
You're trying to say the road to hell is paved with good intentions? Is that where we're at?
Pretty much. Now let's talk about this use case of smart contracts, for example. We've had smart contracts forever. If you've ever used a soda machine, you are using a smart contract. You put in $1, right, and a soda comes out. That is pretty much, it's somewhat regulated, right? Because the soda machine company is regulated to make sure they don't actually steal your dollar. The soda itself isn't regulated. We can debate that one, whether people should be even drinking soda, but the government is okay with that. So That is a smart contract. What Ethereum is trying to convince you, that this smart contract between you and the soda machine is somehow being censored by the government. And you need the most inefficient system in the world, that this transaction needs to be validated across tens of thousands of computers and calculated and stored and checked and rechecked for the rest of time. That is the proposition of smart contracts. There is almost no contract in the world that needs the inefficiency of decentralization. Decentralization is a tool to prevent censorship. So unless you have a contract at risk of censorship, unless you're dealing with a country that is being censored, unless the outcome of your contract is being censored, you don't need decentralization. You just need efficiency. You need an execution mechanism. You don't need decentralization.
Who is that behind you?
I don't have anybody behind me.
I'm just fucking with you. All right, so
as far as I know,
you didn't even care. You're like, nobody, nothing's happening over here. Good thing that wasn't an emergency. Somebody could have swatted you or something, and you wouldn't know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this indicator of yours, man. I want to learn from you today. I want you to take me to school, brother. So, and I showed a little bit. I'll let you kind of do your thing, but in the meantime, so this is my trading view chart that I'm showing people, and it's got the indicator. I don't even remember the name of the indicator. People are saying Bitcoin's going down while you guys are talking. It's still at 70.82. But you know, we hit a 9, but there's been no reversal, and so I'm like, well. So
what's your time frame? What's your time frame?
I'm on a, what am I on? Hold on a minute.
What are the candles? The candle time frame.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I think 4 hour. I'm on a 4 hour.
Right, you're on a 4 hour, right? So I'm gonna look at the 4 hour from my side. It's not a reversal yet. Now I did my video this morning. I would be taking profits right here around this time because that is a 9 telling you that the 4 hour momentum is coming to an end. You had a 9 on the 1 hour earlier this morning. If you flip that to a 1 hour, your indicator will show you a 9 around like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern time. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. You're on the Eastern time as well, I believe.
Wait a minute.
Okay. One of the things that tends to happen after a 9 is a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then probably higher. Now, the hourly chart helped you get the top this morning. I thought that the 4 hour chart also happens to be on a 9, would give you a little bit of a top. Now, if you move that to the 12 hour candles, you will also see a 9 with 4 hours to go in this candle. What this indicator measures, and the actual name of it is called the Tom DeMark indicator, or the Tom DeMark sequential, or just the sequential system. I mean, I wrote my own code for this. I made a couple of small alterations in order to help me, because I've been watching and using this in my trading for over 10 years. And the 12 hour is also telling you that momentum is running out. But when you go to the daily chart and you put that indicator on a daily chart, you will see that it's not yet on a 9. It's only on a 6. So that tells you from a daily perspective, there is potential for 3 more days of upside before there is some kind of a top. And this is where the higher your time frame, the more time there is in a single candle, the more relevant it is. So even though the 12 hour and the 4 hour and the 1 hour were telling you this morning to be very careful, the daily chart was saying, hey, this thing might have 2 to 3 more days of upside before a potential reversal. If you look back last month in July, notice what was the number on the candle that hit a high on July 24th. You will see that it is a 9. I'm not sure if you're using my version of the indicator. I can't vouch for the free versions of this indicator by those that have been copying me. because before I started teaching people the syndicator a little over a year ago, no one in the crypto space had ever used it. So everyone that uses the syndicator in the world of Bitcoin sharding, there is a 99% chance they're only doing it because of me.
You're right. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
Maybe there was one or two guys that were using it before me, but I did not see it. I was the guy that first started using the syndicator publicly. Most people on Wall Street, not Wall Street, sorry. Well, yeah, most people on Wall Street and traders don't know what it is, because unless you write your own code or you use a person's code that wrote it, the only way to access the syndicator is to pay Bloomberg $3,000 a month for a terminal with a trader package within a 2-year contract. So unless you're willing to spend that kind of money, you really have no access to the syndicator. Most sharding software does not do it because they would have to pay Bloomberg that amount of money, and probably an enterprise package. So it'll probably cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in order to give it to you for free. That's why nobody uses it. That's why we had to write our own code for this. So you can see how the top came on a 9.
Yeah, it is a 9.
Last time. So you may want to pay attention to the syndicator. Also notice how the ultimate bottom, it's not always perfect. The ultimate bottom did not come on a 9, but on August 8th, there was a 9 that was close enough to the ultimate low that told you, hey, you know, the drop in the price of Bitcoin might be coming to an end. You may want to consider profit taking from your short positions and see if you can get into bullish positions. I teach the syndicator in my workshops. I teach about 2 workshops a month. They're a full day workshop. I do it all around the world. You can go to tonevays.com, and I teach the syndicator, and people can have access to my code.
You need a Udemy course. You'd clean house, man. You would clean house if you had a Udemy course breaking all this down. I was looking everywhere for it. The only thing is, man, your website looks like it was made in the 30s. And it was difficult for me to find anything.
I have a new website now. You got to go to tonevays.com. That one looks like it was built into 2000s.
Okay, let's look at this then. I'll look at it real quick with everybody. Because I was really struggling. I'm like, man, I see a lot of fucking links here. I need a spider to go through it all. Okay, you did get a new website. All right.
Yeah, tonevays.com, man. I got a real developer, man. You saw my web dev skills. This is the legit version.
Yeah, your old website was made with like NetObjects Fusion or something back in '92.
So the workshop side is where you can like sign up for the workshop. You can also click on the indicator. Yeah, I gotta add a couple of more pictures. I gotta standardize those. But if you click on the indicator, that's when you get to read some material about this indicator. I mean, I didn't create this. This was created before I was born. But just because traders don't know about it and how useful it is, this is the only trading indicator where a trader trading $1 billion worth of assets will exclusively use and nothing else.
Really?
I have met so many traders where the only thing they use in their trading is this indicator. They don't look at anything else. I can't think of any other indicator that is used exclusively.
So explain kind of the whole philosophy behind this whole 1 through 9 system. It's based off of what exactly? Basically, the over idea is when you start at a 1, the price has to close consistently lower than the previous bar up to 9, which indicates a strong chance for a reversal, right?
Right. It basically says that, traders only have X amount of momentum and X amount of FOMO in them. And this momentum eventually runs out. And that momentum is about 9 candles. Now, I will say that there are 2 elements to the syndicator. There is something called the setup, and that is your numbers 1 to 9. They have to be consecutive. Then there is something called the countdown. This indicator is actually pretty complicated. On my website, there is a section called Learn Trading, and there is a link there that even gives you access to a book, a 300-page book about this indicator alone. So if you really want to start trading it, what you want to do is on tonevays.com, go to education, There's an education, learn trading, and then if you scroll down to section 6.
Okay. Time analysis?
Yes. If you go to section 6, time analysis, what you will see is a bunch of links referring to TD. The one you should read all of those TD links, but the one I recommend the most is the one that says Bloomberg Market Essentials. That is probably your absolute best resource. It's a 70-page PDF that explains this indicator, and also you can click on a link and download the entire book on it. There is one that says, Bloomberg Market Essentials. So that's what you want. It'll take a minute to load, but it's well worth it. If you really want to learn this indicator, this is where you start.
I do, man. I want to be like you. I want to be like Mike. You're dunking basketballs all over the court, man, and I can't even jump. So I got to learn.
Right. I mean, I give away as much free information as I possibly can. I don't know if it's possible for you to give away any extra free information that I already do, but if you still want to see me, so you got to sign up for one of my workshops, or you can. Well, I can hook you up with the code, but other than that, that's generally just, hey, it cost me a lot of money to get the code right for TradingView. The Pine language in the back of TradingView is insane. Therefore, I couldn't afford. I couldn't do this myself. I had to pay a developer to code the math. See, the math is public. Mm-hmm. The math on this indicator is public. The challenge is coding it. And when you use other people's free versions, I don't know. I don't test their math. All I know is how hard it was to code the sucker in.
Yeah, I've offered, obviously it's in your chat where you've got like 50 billion people and everything, but, I even offered like, hey, I would help you promote a workshop in Cincinnati. So maybe, at some time in the future, because I think you'd be surprised at how many people I can put into a building.
Yeah, you know what? It goes in waves. I mean, I did a workshop in Boston and only 10 people showed up, and I was advertising a month or like 6 weeks in advance. I also did a workshop in Atlanta on a 10-day notice, and I had 20 people.
Right.
So it's really like people that are interested in trading within the world of Bitcoin. I mean, you never know where they are. Some areas catch you by surprise.
Yeah.
Like I thought Montreal would be great. I did one workshop there. I got 10 people. Toronto, I've already done 2 there, and they've done pretty damn well. So, and they're like, a few hours away from each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and, everything is really relative to the day of the week and what's going on in the world at the time. So, I mean...
That's true. Here's another interesting part, right? So I charge 0.1 Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. I denominate in Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So you would think as the price of Bitcoin goes down, my rate, it's cheaper to come to my workshops. It's cheaper to hire me as a consultant because I also denominate in Bitcoin. In reality, it's actually quite the opposite.
Right.
The reality of the situation is that when the price of Bitcoin is high and you're sitting on 10 Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin gets to 20,000 and you have 10 Bitcoin, you're sitting on $200,000. You're willing to pay $2,000 to attend a full day workshop because you still have $198,000 left. When the price of Bitcoin is down to 5,000 and now you're only worth $50,000, spending $500 on a full day workshop may not be in your interest because now you only have $49,500 for in your life savings.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting dynamic.
It really is. Even with like the ICO reviews and the different features and things that I do. I mean, when Bitcoin's $8,500, I was doing a whole bunch of them every week, and now that it's nothing, everybody's got they put the brakes on. They're not marketing a lot of shit coins right now for me to, go over and talk about. So
I just want to inform because I'm watching the YouTube and there's a big blurred box along the floor, makes it look like I'm not wearing any pants. I actually am wearing pants.
What the hell? You were naked earlier. Now you're trying to pretend you have pants on? No, I'm kidding. I don't know why this is I guess it's because I had you full screen and then I was trying to show people what you were talking about at the same time, and I guess it creates this pasted glass window above and below you. So okay, so like what's something that, because I use this indicator. I should even say I use this indicator. I pretend to use this indicator because I'll watch your videos and I try to follow along and I'm looking at the numbers and I try to understand the correlation between today and yesterday and 5 years ago, and I just try to make sense of a lot of the stuff you put out there. So, and I know a little bit more than I'm pretending to now. I will say that. But for everybody watching, like if they were going to start doing TA and using this indicator, the Tom DeMark count, what are some of the key things you would tell people to focus on or understand the most at first?
Study. Like trading is something for the financially well off, right? Like trading is gambling. You have to understand that trading is gambling. You should only trade with the money you're willing to lose. When you go to a casino, you have to understand that, in a casino, every game is slightly rigged against you.
Right.
The more prepared you are, the better your odds are, but the odds are still against you. Trading is almost like a casino with a huge variance. If you study, you can put the odds in your favor. A professional poker player will usually win against an amateur. A professional trader will usually take the amateur's money. What you have to realize is that when you come to the trading table, you are going up against professionals, and you will scream manipulation. Screaming that some guy with more money than you crushed your position is almost like yelling at a professional poker player for bluffing you out of a hand. It's his job. It's his job to take your money. And you have to come into trading very humble, and you have to come into trading fully prepared and fully study. So before you attempt to trade something you don't understand, like this indicator, you have to read every link associated with this indicator on my website, and that is only the beginning. Again, I spent 10 years learning this indicator before I talked about it publicly. This isn't easy. Trading is not easy. The first thing I say to people that want to be traders is I try to talk them out of it. If I can't talk them out of it, I try to educate them. It's almost like somebody wants to become a race car driver. You ever wanted to become a race car driver?
Sure. That's why I bought one a couple weeks ago.
Nice. How many people have, with experience in race car driving, have tried to talk you out of it?
Nobody. I'm pretty damn good at driving.
That's good. But I would think that, that's not exactly the safest profession. Would you agree?
No, not at all.
So, like, the most responsible thing to do is to talk someone out of being a race car driver. Now, what's the second most responsible thing to do? To educate them how to be a responsible race car driver. And that's all I try to do.
Right.
I try to make sure that people that are going to trade. For example, when people ask me for discounts to attend my trading workshops, because it's a little too expensive for them, currently $600, which I think is unreasonably cheap. I paid $8,000 for the education I teach people right now, and I paid that in 2003 to learn.
Well, so that's the thing. A lot of people, from when it comes to your workshops and your courses and things, I can assume that a lot of people, they look at it and they say, okay, well, it's going to cost me $600, and I may or may not even use what I learn. Is it worth it? Or they might look at it and say, well, I'm going to learn a lot, but
that's true.
There's still the opportunity for me to lose because I still did it all wrong.
That's true. No, that's true. But what bothers me is a person that wants a discount to the workshop because they can't afford it, and that scares me. If you can't afford,
you shouldn't be trading anyway.
You should be trading. Like that's the point, right? It's like you're about to take a workshop on how to play poker from a professional poker player that's charging you an unreasonably low price of $1,000 for all of his knowledge of being a professional poker player, and you're telling him that it's too expensive and to give a discount. What is the most reasonable answer? Then why are you learning how to play poker?
This Crypto Crow guy is a moon boy. You can tell Tone thinks he's an idiot. I don't. I love the people that have come over from your channel.
Oh God, no. Oh man, most of the people in my channel, like they're in my channel to just troll me in my live chat. You're getting off easy.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't typically have trolls, but there are a lot of people in here at the moment. So I sometimes I like to point them out and have fun with them.
I would love. I see a comment. I would love to know how my ideas are socialist.
Socialist. I don't buy Tone socialist ideas. Okay. I don't understand that either, really. Well, yeah, people are fun. So anyway, so back to this chart a little bit, okay? So, you know, I'm looking at a 4-hour, and typically when I'm doing charts, I typically use a 4-hour, and then I'll cross-reference that to other periods like a day, and depending on what I'm looking to do, I'll go down to a 10-minute or even a 5-minute just to see, like, where things are kind of quivering, right? So, but on the 4-hour, I'm looking at this 9, and then I'm looking at the next bar, which is obviously above the 9. So, but then, like you said, if I look at the day chart, then that 9 is actually only a 6. So how do you know when to say, well, it's a 9 here, so I want to trade on this 9, but then I should probably look at the day chart and confirm that, because I watched one of your videos where the 9 lined up across like 3 or 4 time periods. Is that ultimately what you're looking for before you take action?
Yes, but I look at it in the opposite direction. I start from the weekly chart and I work my way down. I don't start from the low level time frames and work my way up. I start from the highest level time frame that is relevant to me. Now, I am an expert as a swing trader. I've tried day trading, but it didn't work out well for me. Swing trading worked out better. So all my buying and selling decisions have always been made on daily charts. So I will decide whether I'm going to buy or sell based on daily candles. If that daily candle is in line with the weekly candle, like let's say I want to buy into a new asset, I will check the weekly chart. Is the weekly chart also bullish? If the answer is yes, I have a lot more confidence in my trade. I can set a very loose stop loss, and I have a lot of confidence. If the weekly chart is bearish, but I still want to take on a bullish trade on my daily chart, I will now make that trade a little bit smaller. I will now make that stop loss a little bit tighter because I know I am going against a longer term trend. As far as executing the trade, Bitcoin has 24 hours in a day. Just because I decided I'm going to enter my trade in the next 24 hours, I need the perfect time of day to enter it. And that's when I start looking at the 12-hour chart, at the 4-hour chart, at the 1-hour chart, maybe even the 10-minute chart. If I found my perfect hour to enter my trade, I can zoom into the 10-minute chart. Maybe I can find an even better entry within the 10-minute candles. So how would I have played this situation? If I was holding Bitcoin and I already made a couple of calls, I'm like, hey, anybody want to buy my Bitcoin? A few of them, because I don't trade on the exchanges. I find them to be too insecure. I don't want to risk my capital to hacks, and also because of my travel schedule and YouTube channel and interview schedule, I don't have time to babysit positions. So therefore, I am more of a macro guy at this point until I decide to take a break from the public life, and then I can go back to, you know, short-term trading. So because the daily chart is on a 6, I am aware that the price can still go up for a couple of more days, but I am starting to take my profit here. If I decided to jump the gun, if I decided to short because the 12-hour was on a 9 and the 4-hour was on a 9 and the hourly was on a 9, I would have gotten a perfect short play sometime on the hourly 9 candle. The hourly 9 candle had a low of $7,050. the hourly 9 candle had a high of $7,090. So that's a $50 window. Let's say I'm in the middle of that window, $7,075. So if I was to short prematurely, because the daily isn't telling me to short, only 12-hour is, and the others are. If I took a short trade at $7,075, I am only down $20 right now. But right now, I am considering taking a stop loss. I am willing to lose that 20 or $30 because if the market was going to turn around and go down because of the 12-hour, 4-hour, and a 1-hour 9, it should have done it by now. Or I'll give it a little more rope. I will give it until a brand new swing high. If you look at 11 a.m. UTC time, which is probably about, I don't know, minus what, 4 or 5. So somewhere around 7 a.m., 6, 7 a.m., the price of Bitcoin on Bitfinex hit a high of 7,126. If I see 7,150 sometime today in the next, 6 to 10 hours, I would absolutely take my $75 loss on this trade, and I will wait a couple of days, and I will try to time another reversal to the downside. That is smart trading. There was a reason to short the market at 7,075. That reason right now is starting to degrade, and I would absolutely not hold my bearish position beyond 7,150. I will try again in a day or two if the daily is on a 9 and I have a reversal candle like a doji or a shooting star and things are rolling over. Though trading is never simple. If you do have a daily chart in a couple of days showing you a top, the 12-hour, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour could be telling you to buy. But you know what? The daily trumps them all.
That's good. So what about the numbers under? So if I go back to my 4-hour and I'm looking at the 9, so now that 9, there's a new candle. Now that 9's turned into a green triangled 1.
Hey, you know what? Are you on TradingView?
Yeah, right now. I'm showing this stuff while you're talking.
Okay, no, I know, I see it. I'm watching it on a like a 1-minute delay. Let me do something here. You got a minute?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Give me 1 second here. Let me.
I'm not getting tired, folks in chat. I'm not getting tired at all. I'm just wanting to make sure I don't miss anything the guys say.
I don't know how long your videos are. Mine tend to go for hours and hours and hours.
Well, I would love to, but no, I'm not pressed for time though.
What is your TradingView username?
Don't even know. Let me see it. Let me see. I'm gonna take this back over here. I will.
You can text it to me on Skype, or you can spell it out for me.
I'll send it to you on Skype real quick.
Yeah, shoot it over Skype or Telegram. Got it.
All right.
Okay. In the meantime, can you delete that TD indicator that you're using, please, from your chart?
My baby. Yeah.
All right.
So just hitting the X off the screen.
Yeah, just hit the X. Get rid of that damn thing off your chart.
Okay.
Excellent. I don't see it. I think you.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it all back over for you here. I just want to make sure I got you staying. There you go. All right. It's cleared off.
All right, excellent. I'm gonna make this YouTube bigger so I can see what you're doing here.
It looks so naked now.
Oh, don't worry, it won't be in a minute. All right. So now what you want to do is you want to go to indicators, that little wavy line.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so I'm watching you on a delay. So go to invite only. Do you see an invite only section now?
No.
Should have appeared. No.
Oh, maybe I need to read.
Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. The other one. The single wavy line.
Oh, indicator strategies in economy. Okay. Oh. Right.
So you see invite only?
Yeah. TI indicator.
Cool.
Tone Vays. Oh, okay.
Yeah, click on that. Click on that one.
All right. Compiling. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Okay. So the matrix just popped up.
Yeah, so you can get rid of that actually. So go to your general settings. In the upper right hand corner, the general settings.
Okay.
Yeah. And there should be a thing there in the background that says eliminate parameters. So like I said, I'm watching you on YouTube on a tiny delay.
Okay.
So you wanna in backgrounds there is a check mark for parameter values. You wanna uncheck that.
Not seeing.
So background. Oh, indicator values.
Indicator values. Yeah. All right.
Uncheck that, and it'll clean it up.
Okay. There we go. All right. Got
Beautiful. Good. And there you go. That is the one that I put together. Well, I didn't code it. It was actually pretty expensive, but to get that sucker coded.
Oh well, thank you. That's cool. Now I just have to learn how to make sense of it.
Right, and you have all of these. Like if you click on the settings of the indicator itself, you have all these options. So this is where you got to read that PDF that you pulled up earlier.
Yeah.
And these are all of the customizations of the code that we built.
Wow.
In the inputs area.
Yeah. So what's the? I mean, I see some extra lines and like I see like the dotted red line. Are like what are these?
Well, yeah, this is why if you go back to that PowerPoint presentation that you opened earlier,
yeah.
it's all explained there. There's a lot of information in this indicator, and all of that stuff is explained in that PDF.
Gotcha. See, what I need to do is I need to have you do a workshop in Cincinnati at my convention. That's what I need to have you do.
Yeah, I know, but I will be outside of North America between Labor Day and Christmas, so this will have to be next year, buddy.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be February 2019.
Yeah, it's exactly where I want to be in February, Cincinnati.
Dude, I don't want to be here either, man. I got to try and make the best of it. This is like the most boring city on planet Earth, and everything's 10 years behind the rest of the world. Oh, gosh, it kills me. I complain to my wife all the time. We're building our dream home, like, here. And I'm like, it makes no sense. We almost moved. Oh, never mind. Don't even get me started.
All right, so let me explain the numbers below. So right now, you only see a handful of numbers below. You see 1, 2, 3. If you move it to the side, you'll see more numbers. So the numbers below are known as the countdown phase. And basically, once you get a 9, and in my experience in the Bitcoin prices, the setup, which is the numbers above the candles, I find them to be more relevant than the countdown, the numbers below the candles. In traditional Wall Street trading, they treat it the other way around. To them, they like to trade the countdown, the numbers below the candles, more than they like to trade the setup. So it's really a trader preference. Basically, if that 9 does not reverse the prices and it continues to go up, then you pretty much trade the countdown.
So basically, if it doesn't reverse on that chart, is this saying it becomes a 1 ultimately?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, basically, the bottom numbers begin after the top numbers. It's a very complicated indicator with a lot of stuff in it. That's why I teach that's why I spend like 2 hours during my workshop explaining it.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So, and for those of you in chat,
and most people, rewatch the videos of my workshop. They come to my workshop a second time.
Do they get a DVD?
This stuff is complicated. Well, I think we're a little bit beyond DVDs, but yes, I record. I wouldn't even.
You know what I mean? Damn it! Do they get to take the shit home or not?
Yes, you get to take the shit home.
Okay. Well, because if with that kind of money, I want a home kit I could pop into my TV or my thumb drive, whatever the hell you put the shit on. Hey, and everybody in chat asking. The PowerPoint is you can get it directly from tonevays.com. So I'm at Tonevays' website, tonevays.com, and then you click up in education, click learn trading, and you scroll down to the 6 time analysis, and then that PowerPoint he's referring to is right here at Bloomberg Market Essentials Technical Analysis, and you can download that right now for free. This isn't anything special that he's got locked up under key or anything. You guys can go grab it.
Right. I mean, learning about how to trade this indicator is public knowledge, but as I've learned, just because you have infinite amount of public educational information,
it's comprehending it and being able to put it into use.
And this is why people still come to my workshops, because they want to hear me explain it and do some, mock live trading using it.
Yeah, like you can have people building 5 different houses using the same plans, but they might go about it a different way for better results.
Yeah, I'm still a little surprised, like how many people have learned so much for free based on my YouTube channel and using that educational section and downloading this stuff, and it's helped them so much in their trading, and they've made money. It's almost like a donation for all of the stuff I've done for them for free, to just come to my workshop and kind of sit in and get to meet me and stuff. Because hey, if I educated you and you've made thousands of dollars because now you're a slightly better trader, some people feel what better way to contribute than to show up at one of my workshops.
Yeah. No.
What better way is it to kick back?
I agree. I want to do a workshop. My thing, Tone, is that I am not a globetrotter like you. I hate traveling. So it's like, oh, if I want to learn from Toes, I got to go to Bangkok, Thailand or some shit, because you're always off in some third world country or something. I'm like, I can't chase you there, man. I got to get you somewhere closer. But someday I will be taking one of your courses at some point. Or you can just get on Udemy, man, and I can join. I got it all. I can refer to it every time I want. It's residual, easy income. I'm telling you, you'd love it if you did it. I think you're not getting Bitcoin.
I'll take a look. Like, my whole mantra in this space, look, I want to monetize because I want to be somewhat compensated for my time, right?
Sure.
One of the reasons why I monetize my YouTube channel is because I put up with so many trolls, and I make them put up with those commercials. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, pay $10 for a YouTube Premium. I do. I haven't watched a commercial in a year. I forgot that YouTube even had commercials.
I forgot that was even an option.
What?
Because I hate all the damn ads on everything I see. I didn't even know there was a premium.
Yeah. So it's $10 a month, and you'll never see an ad again on YouTube the rest of your life.
Well, holy cow. All right. I might join that. I always see like I was going to say RedTube. That's not it.
No, it used to be Red. It used to be called YouTube Red. They rebranded to YouTube Premium because YouTube Red was just stupid.
Well, that and RedTube's not associated with YouTube Red.
Right. So yeah, YouTube Premium, you'll never see another ad again the rest of your life on YouTube for $10 a month. It's such a useful feature. And so that's one reason. Another reason is because people have always told me that if you don't have ads on, YouTube doesn't promote your videos as well. I've seen
that too.
And people are like, well, how come you don't teach these workshops for free? Well, they're meant to be, I don't want 100 people in a classroom. I mean, you've all gone to school before.
You shouldn't have to hold these things for free.
Well,
you're entitled to make some money off of your 10 years experience in trading, plain and simple.
My point is, if I did one of these workshops for free, first of all, I will have no idea how many people are going to show up, because everyone would register and nobody would show up. or nobody would register and everybody would show up. And no one would learn anything because there'll be 300 people in there and everyone is going to raise their hand every 5 minutes. My most optimal number is 20 people. I can go up to 30. I can even go up to 40. But it has to be a classroom setting, like, you know, a small college classroom or a high school classroom. It can't be too many people for something like this because it's too hands-on.
Yeah, I like that. I like the hands-on thing. That's just the best. You know, anything I've ever learned, I've pretty much taught myself just doing some digging and screwing up a lot until I get it right. I mean, that's just kind of how.
Now, keep in mind. Now, I did just give you that indicator, and you will hopefully have it for the rest of your life. But if people are gonna hit me up for it, I'm sorry, guys. There is a one-time fee because it cost me a fair amount of money to get this thing programmed, and I can't give it away. So therefore, if you do want to use my indicator after you learned it, and if someone does buy access to it, they get like 8 hours of video of me explaining it on private consulting calls, workshops. I give you as much video resources to learn how to trade it as I can.
Okay. So you're saying that you have a whole video course already somewhere that we can buy and learn how to use the indicator.
Yeah, it's not exactly structured, but it's more like, you know, half a dozen one-on-one phone calls that you did with people, and they gave me permission to record as I explain it to them, and then I put them all into a package that people get when they purchase access.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I see a lot of. I've done some like beginner stuff, you know, beginner cryptocurrency, setting up wallets and, you know, things like that just to get people started, man. And I did shockingly well with my first course. I mean, I had no idea there was even that kind of income potential on a Udemy course. So definitely look into that. There are some tricks in marketing it. I will say that, and I'd be happy to help point you in the right direction.
I don't want to market it too much because like. This thing is kind of proprietary, right? Like I even changed the name. The name of this indicator was trademarked, so I have to be real careful about how I phrase it. So I'm not exactly interested in, you know, going out there. I like to stay, you know, under the radar.
It's called tone-based techniques. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't need to be.
It's all right.
Crazy.
I'm doing okay. I'll scale my operation eventually. I'm happy with, you know, my lifestyle. I'm happy with the modest income I make. I'm still driving my old 10-year-old car. Still living in the apartment I bought before Bitcoin. Bought this apartment in, I think, summer of 2008. Not the best time, I know, but it was a good deal, and I like the apartment. And you know, I'm fine with it. I'm not really all that. People keep telling me like, if I'm so good, why am I not a billionaire trader? Well, my life is about a little more than that, right? Not to mention, lots of trading doesn't scale to $1 billion. So there's lots of.
Are you going to be one of those guys that comes out in the paper like 5 years from now about how you've been holding and accumulating for 10 years and now you like bought out all the Winklevoss twins assets? I mean, are you like a miser or something? Like that's I know people with Tone's like mentality, if I'm to guess, and I'm assuming you've got like a lot of your shit in underground storage somewhere and nobody knows anything about it.
I wouldn't say a lot, but it pretty much is in some kind of an underground storage because the best thing I can do for myself is not to have access to my own Bitcoin.
Because then you're tempted to trade it and get crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much lost about half my Bitcoin in the summer of 2015 when Bitcoin was at its lows at 250, wasn't going anywhere, and I decided to start funding companies and investing in companies, and I'm never going to do that again. Wow. I'm going to hold on to my crypto this time.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I mean, I got a house that I have to finish paying for, and then I'm just holding forever. So that's my goal. Just trying to improve my position. Look, man, I mean, dude, I'd like to do this again someday and maybe kind of add some structure, add some more Q&A with everybody. So like anytime you want to come on and you know, obviously, you know, for you, this is just a quick hour. I know it's like, oh, I could do this all day. But I know kids and everybody are going to start piling into the house from school. It's about 4 o'clock, so I am going to have to hop off. But yeah, man, I mean, anytime, I'd love to get into some more of your, you know, you have such a wealth of knowledge.
You know, when you just started talking about kids getting off the bus from school, at first I didn't realize you were talking about your kids. I thought you were talking about most of the crypto traders, so we would have to do this after 4 o'clock.
No, I have 4 kids. So, yeah, we have a big army over here of 4 kids, a dog, a cat, and of course my wife, who's the circus lion tamer of the whole scene. So, and everybody knows to keep deathly quiet while I'm doing a video or everybody gets their ears chewed off. But I have to be fair about it. So look, man, nothing but a pleasure, like having you here and learning from you. And you know, everybody, if there's a single soul in this chat that doesn't already know about Tone Vays, I highly encourage you. I disagree with the man that everything is a shitcoin but Bitcoin. But outside of that, he's very well.
Okay, no, but keep in mind that even though I believe that everything is a shitcoin, it doesn't mean you can't trade it for a profit, right?
Thank you.
I have nothing against the guy that is trading Ripple or Bcash, hell, or even, I don't care, Steam it, you name it. If you are trading it for a profit, that's fine. My problem is when people go on Twitter, put Ripple as their logo, and talk about how it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's what bothers me.
See, I like that, Tone. I like it. That piss you off, man? Like, you know, I like it because I like the idea of there being passion behind the space, even if it's with newcomers. There's nothing wrong with being excited about something. You're like the Grinch that stole Christmas, man. Let people have their fun.
All right. Well, we'll see how much fun it gets them. You know, what worries me is this. All of this crypto FOMO is going to end very badly for people. And those same people that were cheerleading Ripple will be the first people out there with pitchforks in front of the SEC building and the regulators and the congressmen screaming for them to do something. And they're going to do something drastic that's going to affect my life in the world of Bitcoin, because these guys couldn't understand that they're about to lose their money in a scam.
You might, maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. We'll see. I mean, look, my big thing, I really, you know, I'm by no means a guru in the sense that, you know, I feel like a lot of credit is given to me that I don't even deserve. I'm not here to tell anybody that I'm, you know, a super crypto expert or anything. I just share what I learn, and that's pretty much it. And I share my opinions based off of what I learn. And, you know, whether it's Ripple or Cardano or Ethereum for that matter, I just think whatever gets people inspired and interested in this space, even if it's a temporary gateway until people have learned enough to move on to something bigger and better, and if everybody tears up to Bitcoin in the end, so be it, we all still win. But in the meantime, I think it's, you know, crypto kitties and shit like that, that's to me complete garbage, drawing people in and getting them into the space. So, you know, at least we agree that it's okay to invest in these things and to just keep learning. That's kind of my big thing, is do what you enjoy as long as you continue learning and turn over every stone to make sure you're getting the most information possible.
Yeah, we can look at it that way.
I love you, dude. I really do. I like your style. All right, guys, we're going to sign off. Hopefully this has been some fun. Tone Vays, in all sincerity, man, I respect you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you joined me. Anytime you want to do anything at all, you let me know, man. Open door policy to you anytime.
Yeah, sounds good. And hopefully I'll see you in Cincinnati sometime next year.
Sounds good to me, man. Till next time, guys, crow your coins, and I'll see you soon.
Later.